There you go. Okay, and this t-test comes in these three types. The first one is single sample t-test. As you know from the name, we do have only a single sample. Misalnya kelas A atau kelas B saja. And then independent sample t-test. We do have two groups. And dependent sample t-test. We do have two measurements, but from a single group. We're going to talk about them one by one. Mungkin a single sample, kemudian dependent sample, and then independent sample t-test. Now, we'll have a look at what a single sample t-test first. Okay. Hold on. Ini kok ketutup saya sebentar ya. Okay. What is the one sample t-test? Okay, so here we are trying to evaluate the hypothesis about population, but we do have only a single group of sample. Whether this group of sample, oh, come on, whether this group of sample, come on, comes from or represents the whole population. Okay, and then this is the example of t-test. So, for instance, it is assumed that the college students theoretically study 20 hours per week. Kecuali S2 ya. Mungkin kalau S2 ya sehari belajarnya bisa sampai 5 jam misalnya. So per week you learned about 30 hours, for instance. Okay, so that is just the assumption or the theory. And then you want to test the theory. Apakah benar mahasiswa saya belajar segini jam? This one comes from the theory, but you do have a small group of sample as the sample in your study. So you want to see whether this group of students have this total number of study hour per week. Okay, to test. Benar enggak siswa saya itu belajar segitu lamanya per week. So you do only have one measurement. Sekali saja di tesnya. Dibandingkan tes itu dengan ini. Whether the students means of study hour is different from the, what is it? The mean from the hypothesized means. This is the hypothesized mean, and this is the student's mean. So you compare them. But don't worry, this concept might be a bit confusing because we don't normally have this one in our real life. People from science normally have this one to test something that they learn from the theory. I mean, let's say the laboratory. Okay, now the next one is the paired sample t-test. Now, this type of t-test is sometimes used in social setting as well. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with when you want to compare the means or the scores from pre-test on a post-test of a single group. For instance, you are conducting an experimental study to see whether Jamu Jago can help your students in a particular class learn misalnya apa ya to concentrate better in your misalnya English class. And then in the beginning of the semester, you gave them Jamu Jago. Sorry, you give them a test, pre-test. And then throughout the semester, you give them Jamu Jago. And then you compare the means between this pre-test and the means between this post-test, whether they're significantly different or not. There might be some differences. The question is whether the difference or whether the differences are significant or not. Okay. So this is what we are going to work on throughout the day. All right. So what is it? Some qualitative researchers argue that, loh, lah kan proses ini memang berusaha untuk meningkatkan hasil pretest ke dalam post-test. Jadi, ya this is normal kalau mereka setelah pembelajaran pasti skornya membaik. But sometimes it doesn't happen that way. I mean, it doesn't work that way. Most of the times you find that a teacher, when they teach in the beginning of the semester, and then they check their students' understanding, and then the end of the semester they did the same checking, and there is no change. It sometimes happens, okay? But this kind of study or this kind of comparison is conducted to see whether the score in pre-test and post-test are significantly different or not. Terus, sorry. Okay. So this is another example of the, what is it? Another example of PET sample t-test. So you want to test, you conducted a pre-test in the beginning of the semester, and then you gave them a treatment in the form of cursus, and then by the end of the day, you conduct the same, you conduct a test. But sometimes in the pre-test and in the post-test might be similar or might be different or might be the same. But I suggest that if you do this, you may want to have two different tests with equal level of difficulty for each item, So here you can notice that the ones who are tested in the pre-test and the one who are tested in the post-test are exactly the same. That's why this is called as paired sample t-test. Pasangan, karena ini sama persis. Okay, so this is what makes it different from the next type of t-test. So here you are trying to find the difference between rata-rata dari pre-test and rata-rata dari post-test. You compare them later. You can do the analysis by hand, but I'm afraid that we might not have much time to do that in our class. So we'll just use a statistic program. All right, and then the next type of test is t-test, is independent sample t-test. This is the most widely used type of test, t-test. Most of t-tests, I mean, like studies involving t-tests use this one. Okay, so what makes it different from paired sample t-test? I'll give you, what is it, example now. Hold on. Do you notice the difference between paired sample and independent sample t-test from this example? Ini jangan periode sebelumnya ya, misalnya kelas A dan kelas B. Do you notice any difference?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What makes them different?
The name, actually, the members.
Okay, so the members in independent sample t-test, the members of the two group are different. But in the paired sample t-test, the members of the two groups are exactly the same. They are compared before and after the, session, or before and after the treatment. But here you do have exactly the same member of the group. Okay, so hold on. You can later then, conclude or make a conclusion that, oh, berarti kalau saya punya satu grup yang sama saja, saya pakainya paired sample t-test. Tapi kalau saya punya dua grup, saya harus pakai independent sample t-test. These two groups might be by their classes. They can be by gender, female and male. They can be by their SES, high and low. They can also be by their origin, Jogjanis, non-Jogjanis. But you can notice here that we only have two groups, A, B, female and male, high and low, Jogjanis and non-Jogjanis. So in summary, t-test can only be used for two different groups. Maksimal hanya untuk dua grup. Kayak tadi, dua grup untuk yang single sample t-test, dua grupnya berarti grup yang hipotesis, kemudian yang kedua adalah grup yang senyatanya dites. Oke. Kemudian untuk paired sample t-test, pre-test, post-test untuk grup yang sama. Independent sample t-test, male, female, A, B, high, low, and so on. Okay, so this what makes the three types of t-tests different. Okay, but before we conduct t-tests, ahli statistik setuju or sepakat bahwa there are some assumptions that we need to make before we conduct t-tests. Okay, so there are three types of assumption here, but normally, again and again, in one side, some experts believe that we have to meet this one. But in the other side, ada yang bilang tidak perlu. Tapi yang perlu diketahui saja ya, bahwa some experts believe that we have to test the normality, and then we have to test the equal variance or the homogeneity of the two groups if they are of the homogeneity of the two measurements. Karena tiap t-test tadi kan ada dua measurements ya, hipotesis atau yang nyatanya, pretest atau posttestnya, kemudian yang berikutnya tadi kelas A, kelas B, cewek dan cowok. So whether the variance between these two groups are equal or homogeneous, atau whether the normality of these two groups, the scores within these two groups are the data are normally distributed or not. Okay, now, before we go ahead with the next slide, if you have any questions, silahkan Mas Danda. I've been talking for about 20 minutes. Now it's time for you to ask questions if you have any.
Sir, actually,
Yes.
could you give another example for one sample t-test actually, sir?
One sample t-test.
Yeah, the example.
Okay, yeah. All right, so this one. This is the, example of one sample t-test. So let's say I am teaching class X. I'm teaching statistics for class X. Okay. I read a book and then I found the theory saying that, okay, students' anxiety, if they are having a statistics class, the students' anxiety is in average itu sekitar 3,5 rata-ratanya misalnya. So this comes from the theory, okay? The student's anxiety is 3.5, for instance, theoretically. Because I'm teaching statistics for class X, I want to see whether my students my students' anxiety get along with what the theory is saying. Segini. So I test them and I got their score and I got the means of their score. So I compare these means with the means that I get from the theory. So basically, I'm comparing between the means of what the theory is saying and the means from my class, whether they're significantly different or not. You get the point? Yeah, Mas?
So basically, it is just finding out some phenomenon in one setting, or I mean, one sample, only one type of the sample, like that, sir.
Yes, one group of sample. But remember, one group of sample, you only have one measurement here. You only measure it once. You compare it with the theory. But in paired sample t-test, you have pre-test and post-test. You have two measurements. And in independent sample t-test, you do have two measurements because you have A and B, female and male, or high SES and low SES. You have two measurements, real measurement. But here, in one sample t-test, you only have one real measurement. The other measurement is hypothesized atau berbasis teori. Okay, does that answer your question, Mas?
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, no
It's clear
worries.
enough.
Yeah. Okay, now if you have any other questions, Mas dan Mbak, silahkan. Not yet. All right, if you don't have any questions, hold on. Ini tadi sudah ya. This is another example for independent sample t-test. But normally, we do expect that your sample is 30 per each group. Biasanya kita minta untuk 30 ya per grupnya ya. Karena 30 ini standar errornya rendah. Permittable istilahnya. Atau permitted ya, diizinkan. Kalau yang di bawah ini biasanya nanti errornya semakin tinggi. Di atas ini errornya semakin rendah. So let's have a look at this example. Pretends that this is not 7 but 71 male and 71 females. Okay. And then again and again pretend that we do have 71 female and 71 male students. Oh, kembali, 71 males and 71 females. Okay. And then we compare the mean from these two groups. But before we compare the means from the two groups, we need to make hypothesis first. This hypothesis is built by referring to the theory that you are having that you already have you have written in your in your lead review. So let's say the null hypothesis says there is no significant difference in students' reading score by their gender. Misalnya tadi yang di depan itu bukan tinggi tapi reading score misalnya, atau kalau di depan tadi tinggi ya height. There is no significant difference in students' height by their gender. But here, supaya terikat dengan bidang kita, there is no significant difference in students' reading score by their gender. Have noticed the word no here. So null hypothesis is normally used to neutralize the the hypothesis. Jadi ini dinetralkan misalnya tidak ada. But have a look at the alternative hypothesis here. Ada, there is. Okay, so this one, what makes them two different? That makes this two, what makes them different? Okay, now we'll go ahead with the hand calculation. Tapi kok Saya tanya coba, do you want to do the hand calculation, Mas dan Mbak? Okay. Ya. Kok garuk-garuk kepala, that means no. I'll just skip this one. But if you want to have a look at the more detail about the definition, the assumption, and how to run the analysis, or even how to, how to read the output, how to write the output, you may want to visit these two websites. I just go with one of these websites. Hold on. There you go. Oh, sorry, belum saya share screen. So, for instance, this is independent sample t-test. Kalau dependent gini muncul enggak ya? Oh, this is dependent. And this is independent sample t-test. So you got the introduction, the assumption, example, how to set up your data and how to run the analysis in SPSS, and also how to, read the output, and how to write the report. Okay, but one thing that I want you to learn is about the test of normality if you want to do it in your in your t-test, especially independent sample t-test. Karena kalau dependent sample t-test kan grupnya tidak dibagi, datanya itu kan tidak dibagi baik, tidak dipecah jadi dua. Kalau yang independent sample t-test kan dipecah. So let's say I have this course. Last week you learned that to run the test of normality, you do it this way, and then you go with cross explore, and then you choose one of the scores. But now I'll show you in independent sample t-test, di mana dua kelompoknya berbeda ya, maka harus dibagi dua. We do it differently. Misalnya, we do test of normality differently. I want to test the TOEFL methodology score of my male and female students. Again and again, this only works for independent sample t-test. Okay, so you put the first variable here and then the grouping here. Okay, and then I click on the plots and then choose test of normality with plots. I click continue and then I click OK. Wait a minute, you'll see that there will be two groups in your normality tests. Ini adalah normality test untuk laki-laki wanita. Ini adalah normality test untuk laki-laki. You get it? Yes. You have to get it. Okay. Now we'll have a look at how to run the SPSS in test of t-test, especially for PET sample t-test. Saya kirim grup datanya dulu. Sebentar ya. Saya kok lupa nggak ngirim dari tadi pagi. Data analysis. Data meeting exercise for t-test. Small sample t-test. Okay. Data analysis B. Tadi exercise for t-test, TB t-test, small sample, that's t-test. Okay, there you go. I'm sending for both class A and class B. Ini, by the way, ini teman-teman kelas A dan kelas B itu saling mengenal enggak?
Tahu,
Enggak?
Pak.
Masya Allah.
Nggak berapa tahu, Pak. Teman-teman saya mau nggak tahu.
Oh my goodness. Kalau ini nggak ada yang Exodus pindah kelas ya? Kayaknya kemarin kan ada
Ada,
yang
Pak.
ada Exodus ya. Okay. I sent you the today's PPT and also some SPSS files into your WhatsApp groups. Kindly open the first file for today's exercise for t-test. Sorry. So now, has everyone opened the file? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay.
I
Now
guess
we'll
yes,
have
sir.
a look at the concept of what is it? We'll go back to the concept of paired sample t-test. Misalnya di sini ada, belum tak rubah ya. Silahkan sekarang kita rubah dulu saja, Mas dan Mbak. Tolong untuk yang TOEFL kita rubah menjadi pre-test. Kemudian misalnya pre-test statistik ya. Yang psikolinguistik kita ganti post test statistik. Oke, kita copy. Ya, sudah dirubah semua?
Sudah, Pak.
Yeah. Okay. Now you will notice here that in PET sample t-test we have exactly the same group. Ini ada skor pretest untuk nomor 1. Ini adalah skor pretest untuk skor post-test untuk anak pertama. Skor pretest untuk anak kedua, skor post-test untuk anak kedua. Skor pretest untuk anak ketiga, skor post-test untuk anak ketiga, and so on and so on. Okay, and we are going to work on PET sample t-test with this data. How do we do it in SPSS? First, you go to analyze, and then you click on compare means, and then you click on PET sample t-test. Everything is there. Is everyone here now? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, click this one.
Wait. Analyze, compare.
All right, so is everyone here now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, now we'll move pretest to the variable 1 and then post-test to variable 2. Everyone is here now? Pretest to variable 1, post-test to variable 2. Everyone is here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, Pak.
Okay, then click OK. We assumed that our samples, the distribution of our samples are normal. Asumsinya sudah normal gitu ya. Jadi kita tidak perlu ngetes itu. Kita asumsikan normal. Nanti kalau nyatanya mau dites normal boleh. Kalau enggak ya silahkan, but you'll have to have backup theories. Okay, now have a look at the PET sample t-test. What is it? Table. This table. Okay, so from this table you learned that rata-rata min pretest untuk post-test itu segini. Kemudian, rata-rata min pretest itu segini, rata-rata min post-test itu segini. Do you see any difference between the means in the pretest and the post-test? Ada perbedaan enggak?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The question is whether the difference between the mean in pretest and post-test is significant or not. Kita cari yang signifikan. Okay, how do we do that? Just have a look at the sig here. Oke, aturannya adalah seperti ini. Sama dengan test of beda ya, kebalikan dari test of normality. Kalau test of normality, kalau sig-nya di atas 0,05, maka ini normally distributed. But in the t-test, correlation and other types of analysis, if you find that the sig value here is lower than 0.05, then there is a significant difference between the two groups or the two measurements. What I mean by two measurements itu pre-test, post-test. Kalau two groups itu group A, group B, male, female. But if you find that the sig value here is more than 0.05, then you will see that there is no significant difference between the two groups. Nah, sekarang kita lihat di sini. What is the sig value here? 0.382. So is there any significant difference in the students' pre-test and post-test scores?
No.
No.
Significant.
No significant difference. Nah, ini untuk PET sample t-test. Nah, sekarang Mas dan Mbak coba, silahkan dicoba. Misalnya data yang kita miliki tadi, ada exercise for t-test sudah coba dibuka sekarang yang small sample PISA 2009. Small Sample PISA 2009. Kemudian reading dan math-nya diganti menjadi pre-test dan post-test. Pre-reading, post-reading. Ini juga sama, diganti pre-reading, post-reading. Kemudian try to run PET sample t-test. Oke, tadi caranya go to analyze and then compare means, PET sample t-test. Klik this one. Pre-test geser ke kanan, post-test geser ke kanan juga. Automatically they will be assigned to variable 1 and variable 2. Kalau enggak diklik di sininya loh. And then click OK. Now, can you see any significant difference in the pre-reading and post-reading scores?
No, sir.
Is there any
No, Pak.
significant
No,
difference?
sir.
No,
No,
tidak
sir.
ada perbedaan yang signifikan ya. Walaupun di sini kelihatannya berbeda. Bedanya sampai sekitar 8 angka, tapi 8 poin ini tidaklah signifikan. Ini kayak misalnya pretestnya itu 76,5, kalau satu mahasiswa post-testnya itu 77,1. Nah ini kan not significantly difference. Kalau yang significantly difference itu biasanya 75 menjadi 90, for instance. Then they will be significantly difference. Kita coba saja lihat sekarang data ini tadi, kita ganti. Misalnya yang small sample t-test, small sample PISA, kita rubah data di sini. Ini dirubah ditambahi post testnya ditambahi 50 semua misalnya. Nah, nanti akan kelihatan bedanya. Misalnya ya, I'll try to use Excel to do that. Can you see my Excel file?
Yes, Pak.
Yes. Say for instance, this one. And then I'll add this one. There you go. I'll copy it to my SPSS. Tak pasang di sini biar nggak merusak. Sorry. Okay, so I'll change this one into post 2 and this one post 2. This is just to show you what is meant by significant difference and non-significant difference. I'll try to run per sample t-test and I'll change this one with a post test. Okay, now we'll see if 50 in each group is significant, right? See, you can see here. Can you see any significant difference?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Di sini
Yes.
bedanya lumayan ya. Juga. But how about the reporting? This is how we report it. Nah, nanti bisa dilihat di dalam file yang saya kirimkan tadi, SPS ini sudah ada how to write the report as well. Ini how to write the report. This is how to write the report in detail. Oke, okay. Mas dan Mbak, karena nanti 8:30 saya harus persiapan untuk pencanangan dies. Mohon maaf saya agak tergesa-gesa, enggak apa-apa ya. We'll now have a look at the last type of t-test with the exercise. Nah, kalau tadi we go back to exercise for t-test. Nah, kalau tadi pre-test sama post-test itu kan siswanya sama. Iya kan? Now have a look at now grammar. Di sini kita lihat by gender. Kira-kira siswanya sama atau tidak? Siswa laki-laki dengan siswa perempuan, skornya kan pasti di sini. Ini siswa perempuan skornya. Ini skor siswa laki-laki misalnya. Nah, skornya beda ya. Iya kan? Maksudnya bukan kayak ini tadi. Kalau ini tadi kan, oh ini skor untuk pretest anak pertama, ini posttest anak pertama. Dilihat dibandingkan. Now, we are going to see how grammar, what is it? Is there any significant difference in students' grammar by their gender? How do we do that? We first go with analyze, go to analyze, and then compare means, and then independent sample t-test. Okay, let's have a look at grammar score. We put it to the right, but you can't click OK for now. Why? Because we need the grouping variable here. Grouping variabelnya by apa? By gender. Nah, masih ada tanda tanya. Kok belum muncul OK juga? You need to define the groups. Ketik saja asal 1 atau 2. 1 dan 2. Boleh enggak Pak saya ketik 10.000 atau 10 juta itu? Enggak boleh. Bolehnya antara berapa tadi? Oh. Ini. Oke, 9.9. Misalnya di sini ya kita boleh saya ketik 9 dan 8 Pak, boleh. Tapi daripada repot mbok 1 sama 2 saja. Lebih mudah. You can only have 2 groups here. And then click continue. Now the OK button is on. Is everyone here now?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, then click OK. Oh, wait. There you go. Nah, ini Mas dan Mbak. Kalau PET sample t-test itu tidak memunculkan 11 tests of equality, 11 tests for equality of variance. Ini uji homogenitas itu ini. Tadi yang saya sebut di awal tadi loh. Bahwa 2 varians dari 2 kelompok, laki-laki dan wanita, itu harus homogen. Nah, ini cara memaknainya sama persis dengan test of normality. Kalau di atas 0,05, then they are homogeneous. If they are under 0.05, then they are not homogeneous. Nah, ini kan homogen ya. Okay, we can go ahead with the t-test result. Nah, kita ambil yang equal variance assumed. Equal variance assumed. Okay, now have a look at this one. We are testing whether students' grammar scores differ by their gender, male and female. Nah, kita lihat di sini. Is there any significant difference between male and female students' grammar scores? Ada perbedaannya signifikan enggak? Ada tidak?
No.
No ya. Nah, sekarang kita coba utak-atik datanya misalnya. Kalau ini jelas tidak ada perbedaan ya. Kalau kita ingin ada perbedaan misalnya, oh ini yang cewek tak tambahkan berapa ya biar kelihatan beda ya. Misalnya. Tak tambahkan 100 misalnya nanti. Saya tambahkan, oh my goodness, saya tambahkan 100 misalnya. We'll see if there is any significant difference or not. There you go. I'll copy them. Misalnya saya kopikan di sini saja biar cepat ya. And then I'll run the hypothesis. I'll run the test. Compare means. Independent sample. Click OK. Nah, can you see any significant difference, Mas dan Mbak?
Oh, tetap beda seatnya.
Ya, kelihatan sekali ya. Ya karena di sini rata-ratanya terpaut hampir 100 kan. Maka dia significantly different. Nah, this is what is meant the idea of misalnya nanti Mas dan Mbak mau melakukan CAR atau classroom action research. secara kualitatif, okay, you got it with what is it, coding and blah 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 with from your interview and also observation data. Tapi kalau untuk kuantitatif datanya dilihatnya salah satunya bisa dengan cara seperti ini. Bisa pre-test, post-test. Kalau misalnya apa ya, satu grup itu tadi ya. Kalau ini khusus untuk yang beda grup antar dua grup. Oke. Nah, perbedaan yang signifikan itu kayak gini. Kalau ini, kalau misalnya dari 70 menjadi 73, secara zahir atau secara angka, they differ by 3 digits or 3 numbers.
But not significant.
Tapi perbedaan ini mungkin bisa signifikan, mungkin bisa tidak. It depends on this one. Okay, now I'll have to leave at 8:30. If you have any questions, Mas dan Mbak, silahkan.
Udah lumayan jelas.
Lumayan jelas? Yeah, you can basically if you go to like what is it, this one, independent sample t-test, ya urutannya ada di sini jelas sekali Mas dan Mbak. Tadi dikasih nomor 1, nomor 2, mulai dari awal ya. Analyze, compare means, independent sample t-test, kemudian treatment dikasih geser ke grouping variable, kolesterol digeser ke test variable, kemudian define groupnya 1, 2, kemudian analyze-nya biarin saja yang lain, kemudian klik OK, kemudian you get this one, and then this one. So, yang terakhir tabelnya, oh ini beda bentuk tabelnya ya. Kalau ini landscape yang kita tadi, yang ini portrait yang punya kita tadi landscape. Ini hasilnya seperti ini, sama persis. You may want to refer to the equal variances assumed. Okay, nah ini how to write the report. That's it. This is what I like from quantitative study. I don't have to ngarang indah. What I need to do is just change the numbers, change the variables, taplek, boom, that's it. Okay. Yeah, again and again, I'm really sorry Mas dan Mbak that this week, I mean this month, kalau semoga bulan depan enggak kayak gini, karena saya itu enggak tahu di eret-eret jadi ketua dia, jadi mau enggak mau rapat repet dan kegiatan. But pray for me, I can survive, I can go through this challenge. Okay.
Semangat
Thank you.
Bapak.
Thank you. All right, Mas dan Mbak, now I'll have to go for the preparation because all Rapims will be here in a minute. Thank you for joining the session. If you have any questions, we'll have inshallah a session to wrap up this one before we have our next material. Our next material will be ANOVA, and ANOVA is an extension of t-test. Kalau t-test tadi ada 2 kelompok saja, cowok cewek. Nah, kalau ANOVA nanti ada 3, cowok cewek tidak diketahui misalnya, atau kelas A, kelas B, kelas C misalnya. You got it? Hanya extension saja. Alright, stay safe and healthy everyone. Inshallah I will see you next week, and thank you for understanding my condition. Stay safe and healthy again and again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, Bapak.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, terima kasih ya.
Semangat.
Thank you.
Iya, amin. I
Thank
love
you.
you.
Okay, bye. Bye everyone.